All right, let's dive into what might just be the Mount Everest of literature, Fyodor Dostoevsky's final masterpiece, The Brothers Karamazov. Seriously, this book has it all. It's a nail-biting murder mystery, a tense courtroom drama, and maybe most importantly, a deep, deep dive into the biggest questions we can possibly ask ourselves.
And this is the big one. This single question is the engine that drives the entire novel. It's a truly terrifying thought, isn't it? That if you take away that ultimate authority, maybe our whole idea of right and wrong just falls apart.
But see, Dostoevsky doesn't just toss this question out there. Oh no, he turns it into an all-out life-or-death battle. This book isn't just a story. It's a philosophical arena where faith, doubt, reason, and pure raw passion collide. It's a fight for the very soul of humanity.
So how are we going to tackle this beast of a book? Well, we're going to do it through its characters. We'll meet the family, get to know the three brothers, watch a trial that's about way more than just one murder, and figure out why this book, written over a century ago, feels more relevant than ever.
Every epic story needs a spark, right? And in this one, that spark is a brutal, shocking crime. We start with a family that is so unbelievably dysfunctional, so twisted up in greed and resentment that you just know something terrible is about to happen.
So, let's meet the players. You've got the father, Fyodor, who is just this lecherous, cynical buffoon, a total mess of a human being, and his three legitimate sons couldn't be more different. Dmitri is all passion and chaos. Ivan is the cold, brilliant intellectual. And Alyosha, well, he's the spiritual one, the saintly soul. And then there's Smerdyakov, the rumored illegitimate son, just lurking in the shadows, soaking up all that poison.
And then, boom, it happens. Fyodor is found dead, murdered. And just like that, this messy family drama turns into a high-stakes whodunit. The crazy part? All three sons had a really good reason to want him gone. So the question isn't just who did it, it's what ideas, what passions were powerful enough to lead to murder.
Okay, first up is Dmitri, or Misha. This guy is a force of nature. He is the walking, talking embodiment of that wild Karamazov spirit, this intense, chaotic energy that can lead to incredible love one minute and total destruction the next.
I mean, listen to that. That's how someone in the book describes him, and it's just perfect. This isn't just a guy who's a little impulsive. He's completely consumed by his passions. He's a total paradox, a guy who would honestly consider murder to defend his honor, but is terrified of being called a thief. And what's at the center of his whole chaotic world? A number, 3,000 rubles. It's the inheritance he's convinced his father cheated him out of, and it's the exact amount of money he needs to run away with the woman they're both in love with. This money becomes everything, his motive, his obsession, and the single most damning piece of evidence against him.
When you get right down to it, Dmitri is all of us, isn't he? He's that constant battle between who we want to be and what our desires push us to do. He knows he's a scoundrel. He'll tell you himself, but he has his own twisted code of honor. And for him, being accused of murder is one thing, but being seen as a common thief, that's a shame he just can't bear.
All right, so we've met the passionate heart. Now it's time to meet the ice-cold, razor-sharp mind. Ivan Karamazov is hands down one of the most fascinating intellectuals ever put on paper. He doesn't just not believe in God, he puts God on trial for crimes against humanity. And honestly, his argument is terrifyingly good.
Ivan's case is absolutely devastating. He basically collects news stories of the most horrific child abuse imaginable and poses a killer question. If God is all good and all-powerful, how does he let this happen? For Ivan, no amount of heavenly reward later on can ever make up for the suffering of one single innocent child. So in the face of that cruelty, he says he would respectfully return his ticket to heaven.
And to really hammer his point home, Ivan tells his deeply religious brother Alyosha this little story he cooked up. It's called The Grand Inquisitor. Imagine this. Jesus comes back to Earth during the Spanish Inquisition. He's healing the sick, people recognize him, and he's immediately arrested by the church. The head cardinal then visits him in his cell and gives this absolutely mind-blowing speech.
This is the core of the Inquisitor's argument, and it is chilling. He tells Jesus, "You got humanity all wrong. You gave them freedom, but they don't want freedom. It's too heavy. They just want to be fed, to feel safe, and to have someone to bow down to."
He claims the church has actually fixed Christ's work by taking away that terrible freedom and giving people what they really crave: miracle, mystery, and authority. It's this incredible idea that maybe we'd rather be happy, comfortable slaves than truly free.
So after Ivan drops that philosophical bomb, how on earth does Dostoevsky even begin to answer? Well, he doesn't try to win the argument with a better argument. He offers a completely different kind of answer. He gives us Alyosha, the youngest brother, a guy who chooses to live his faith instead of just debating it.
And this right here, this is the main event. You have Ivan, who looks at all the suffering in the world with pure logic and decides it's all meaningless. And then you have Alyosha, who sees the exact same suffering and responds with something he calls active love. It's Ivan's everything is permitted versus Alyosha's we are all responsible for everyone. It's the ultimate showdown between the head and the heart.
This is the core wisdom that Alyosha's mentor, the elder Zosima, passes on to him, and it's Dostoevsky's direct response to Ivan's intellectual pain. Think about it. Hell isn't some fiery pit. Hell is being so locked inside yourself, so isolated, that you literally cannot connect with another soul. You can't give love, and you can't receive it. It's a spiritual prison.
Now, what's so important to get about Alyosha is that he is not some naive, happy-go-lucky saint. He is a Karamazov through and through. He's got his brother Dmitri's passion and Ivan's capacity for doubt. At his lowest point, he even admits that maybe he doesn't believe in God either. And that's what makes his faith so real and so powerful. It's not blind, it's a choice, a hard choice, made every day to love the world anyway. So you have all these massive ideas swirling around: passion, reason, faith. And where do they all finally collide? In a courtroom. The final section of the book is the trial of Dmitri Karamazov for his father's murder. But this is way more than a simple trial. Dostoevsky is putting the entire concept of human justice on the stand. The whole trial is just a masterclass in misunderstanding. The prosecutor lays out this perfect, logical case built on a mountain of circumstantial evidence. And yeah, on paper, Dmitri looks 100% guilty. But the defense is arguing something deeper, that the prosecution understands the facts, but they don't understand the man. It shows how our systems of justice, so focused on logic, can completely miss the truth of the human heart. And then comes the gut punch. The real killer, it turns out, was the servant, Smerdyakov. But when he finally confesses to Ivan, he says something that shatters Ivan's world. He says, "You were the one who really killed him. I was just your instrument. You're the one who taught me that if there's no God, then everything is permitted." Smerdyakov took Ivan's abstract intellectual idea and turned it into a bloody reality. So, after all of that, the passion, the doubt, the murder, the trial, where does that leave us? Why do we still read this book? Because I think it puts a choice right in front of us, a choice that every single one of us has to make in our own lives. Dostoevsky basically lays out 3 different ways to live. You can take Dmitri's path and find some kind of redemption by embracing suffering. You can go down Ivan's path, where pure reason without any faith leads to a total breakdown. Or you can choose Alyosha's path, turning away from the big, unanswerable questions and instead finding meaning in small, everyday acts of love. If you take one thing away from this massive novel, let it be this. This is the final answer to Ivan's rebellion. The world isn't broken because God is cruel or absent. It's broken because we've forgotten this one simple, profound truth, that we are all connected and all responsible for each other. It's a radical call for empathy. In the end, reading this book is like looking in a mirror. So, who are you? Are you the passionate, chaotic Dmitri, always fighting between your best and worst self? Are you the brilliant, tormented Ivan who can't unsee the world's horrors? Or are you trying to be an Alyosha, finding your way through active love? The genius of the book is that it doesn't give you the answer. It just gives you the question.
Subscribe to the Timeless Tales podcast. Your stories, your time.